Matt is the practitioner who worked on my body here in Bali, and it was such a full-on experience that it kind of catalyzed this entire project.
I'm doing this work since almost 6-7 years.
Yeah.
But I'm a Tantric practitioner since 20 years almost, and just so much passion for this expansion, for the possibility in our body to go into these places where we all love to go, and where we just surrender into this deep state of bliss into ourselves. And I've been working over the last year with many practitioners, with many other practitioners, but the main practitioner was a midwife I work with. Her name is Silja Rehfeld. She's from Berlin, and she was actually teaching me something where she said she has 4 eyes, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's what she was doing. She was just like starting to work internally with women before giving birth to release the tension around the cervix and the vagina walls.
Wow. And
the conclusion that we just made together, because I was a tantric practitioner, she was the midwife, when we combined that with a body work and releasing that tension out of the body, women should be able to have an ecstatic experience without giving birth. Because all women who are going through her experience have the capacity of giving ecstatic birth. So we were translating that into sexual healing work.
Oh, so yeah, right.
So this is where it started.
Right.
And so why the 21 days is, there's something in our brain that calls the reward system in our limbic brain that is related to, it calls the pleasure center. And when we're having any kind of substances in our body, like nicotine, coffee, alcohol, any kind of drugs, we actually creating huge amounts of dopamine. And this dopamine, this is where the reward center is created in an addictive circle. Mm-hmm. The highest level of dopamine we can create in our body without any substances is the peak orgasm, the contractive peak orgasm. And the clitoris is a beautiful tool and toy, is a pleasure button that I highly recommend to include in any sexual stimulation.
Yeah, thank you, because I'm very attached to clitoral stimulation, and I think it's really important not to, make it, pushed to the side. I think it's really important.
The important part is not to having an agenda or a goal of the peak when you stimulate yourself.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that with the cervix as well, like how do you get away from having this kind of goal focus? Do you have any tips?
Well, after 21 days, when you realize that that your sexual pleasure is not related to the peak orgasm that you just had literally before, you can reach much higher stages of sexual pleasure or arousal than you can actually have on a clitoral orgasm.
Right, well with clitoral orgasm it kind of just dissipates after that. Yeah, so you can just keep going higher and higher.
Right. You have to relax.
Relax the pelvis.
So the 21 day is literally the time that the reward system, the pleasure center in the brain, needs to recover from every pattern of addiction. So when you stimulating your clitoris in a 3 to 5 minute session into an orgasm, you will train your reward center to having a high release of dopamine in this short period of time.
What about if it's 20 minutes and then you have a clitoral orgasm? Does that make a difference? Because like a lot of women will take 20 minutes to have a clitoral orgasm.
Yeah, well, at the end it doesn't matter if you do 20 minutes or half an hour or an hour. The thing is, when you're having the orgasm itself, the contractive peak orgasm, it is that the orgasm is not happening in your genitals, it's just happening in your brain, in your reward system.
Right. Okay, that's key.
Okay, so that what we know in our genitals is just it's a spasmic reflex. So the orgasm that happens in the brain on the peak of serotonin and dopamine and oxytocin is creating this explosion of nerve cells. When you're having this explosion in your brain, you're releasing prolactin. and prolactin kicks the body in a kind of hangover situation up to 21 days.
Oh.
So you have an imbalance of oxytocin and dopamine and different neurotransmitter in your body, and you're having emotionally kind of hangover situation, and whenever you're feeling down in this addictive pattern, you just go back to the button and rub again to feel better, and you just extend the orgasmic addictive cycle. When you're having an orgasm that is not based on the contraction or stress release, you're just having kind of an orgasmic expansion. The kind of the orgasmic waves that you can ride as long as you want. It's not this kind of peak like a Christmas tree where you go up and down. It's just like you just go up and you stay there for a while on a kind of plateau, and then you relax into that for a while, and then you actually start again on another level, on another layer.
Yeah, so it's like a state, orgasm state?
It's an ecstatic orgasmic state rather than having this contraction of a peak and a release. So you literally play to a certain state, and this is what you do in the 21 days.
Yeah.
You play to a certain state, and you just relax there, and you just stop.
Okay.
And whenever you like, you continue.
Okay.
And you just build it up, and you build it up.
So it sort of looks like that.
Right.
So you build it to a certain place. Is it similar to a technique called edging? Have you heard of that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Similar?
It's similar than that. In edging itself, you play, well, you can use the procreative peak orgasm as well in edging.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a praxis of self-challenge.
Yeah.
So you just literally go as close to the edge as you like.
Yeah.
And part of your reward center of your repetitive pattern of orgasm wants you to come.
Yeah.
You have this urge, oh my god, that feels so good, I need to come.
Yeah.
But that's the point where you relax. Into the pleasure,
yeah.
and you stay on the edge of coming.
Yeah.
And you can extend and expand on the edge of coming as much as you like.
And so when someone relaxes, when they've built up their pleasure and then they relax, do you suggest breathing for a while in that state, or is there any breath practice that you can do while you're exploring like the orgasm state?
Yeah, so what helps best for me and what helps best with people I've been working with is a kind of a breathing technique, is when you just literally breathe in, you just breathe through your genitals, you breathe through your abdominal, and when you breathe in you just expand and push the energy outwards, and afterwards you just relax more.
Okay, so breathing in
and expanding,
and then
and you breathe out and relax.
Okay.
And you breathe in, and this is where you learn in the process of edging to reach higher stages of pleasure and ecstasy.
Yeah. How long would you stay in that relaxed state for?
As long as you like. I've been there for 3 days. It's
3
really
days. And so is that what they mean when you say relaxed arousal? Like, I get what tension arousal is. Like, it's like, you know, and we learn it when we're masturbating, and we need to do it quickly, or we've got to like hide, or and so relaxed arousal would be like.
Relaxed arousal is actually when you're coming from a place without an agenda. So you literally enjoy into the expansion of having an erection, and you can have an erection as well. And this is a high state of arousal, having an erection.
Yeah.
And having an erection doesn't mean that you have to have an orgasm. You can relax in this pleasure of having an erection that feels literally really good.
Yeah. Right.
And you can stimulate your clitoris, that is not only the pearl, the tip of the iceberg, it is as well the erectile tissue that is getting. Oh, that was just flying in my mouth.
It just flew up your nose. The insects are attacking.
Well, it's just like unconsensual penetration. So if sexual engagement or orgasm or self pleasuring or masturbation is always related to stress relief, then deeper layers of our nervous system that are related to higher stages of pleasure or ecstasy, they're not getting touched, they're not getting activated.
Yeah, we have 4 pelvic nerves, but what I feel is that, like, I mean, certainly most women who've been penetrated have experienced cervical stimulation, definitely G-spot stimulation, and yet don't reach necessarily those peak states of pleasure that you're talking about. So what's in the way?
My thinking around that is, if somebody has a repetitive pattern of behavior related to sexuality and orgasm, that sexual stimulants has to finish always with an orgasm or with the same kind of orgasm, then sexuality has just like a specific path.
Right.
And if this specific path is related to the release of dopamine, like an addictive circle, deeper layers of stimulants actually not getting activated. And the deepest stimulants that women can have internally, and sorry guys, we are just like very poor in this approach, women having the cervix connected to the vagus nerve, to the parasympathetic nervous system.
So the vagus nerve is parasympathetic nervous system?
Right.
Okay, can we talk about that and its connection to orgasm?
Yeah, please. So if the vagus nerve, or that part of the parasympathetic nervous system, is through unconsensual sex, through strong stimulation, through invasion of the vagina being entered too early, having kind of violating experience through any kind of abuse in their body, the parasympathetic nervous system has a specific way of shutting down and freezing up. It's literally making the body numb to avoid pain. Mm-hmm. But the other side of the parasympathetic nervous system is when this part is just like open and relaxed and wide. It's a very strong connection into a deep altered state of consciousness. The important engagement is that you have to own what you want in this engagement. That it's not about melting frozen parts of your tissue, is as well to it calls in the terms of neurology the social engagement system, where I create through eye contact and through communication a state of safety in your body. Right. And this state of safety with your body, where you know that what happens internally in your body is related to your choice and to your own way of engagement and what you want, and that you're not receiving anything that you don't want. Right. And if this is part of the nervous system, this part of your parasympathetic nervous system, what's normally when you're involuntarily kind of feeling like an invasion in your body, when this part can relax and it's opening up, your tissue, deeper tissue, is part of your pleasure experience. Because if it's frozen, it's part of that nervous system to make you numb and not feeling anything.
Wow, so that's really important when it comes to even practicing this work with a partner. It's like the female has to feel completely safe, and that she's owning what she wants to experience. So in other words, asking for what she wants, or...
No, she has to find in the first place her own safety, and find a place where she can trust and surrender. If this place of trust and surrender is not really reached and you're not open, your nervous system is literally kind of still frozen. So if that means when you're getting entered too early, when you're getting entered, when your body is not receptive for being entered, your nervous system is still on the other side of this response where it's frozen and kind of still numbed. The clitoris legs, they're going internal, they are as well connected to the uterus.
Yeah.
So you can bring this clitoris pleasure internal towards your cervix, towards your uterus.
And is that, because I remember you saying to me, are you feeling the connection between your clitoris and your cervix?
Yes.
What were you meaning by that?
That is normally it's kind of in the brain, in the pleasure center, just like separated, because one part comes through the vagus nerve, one part comes to the pendular nerve. You can just like connect them in your brain by stimulating them at the same time.
Ah, I got it.
Just kind of connecting some synapses somewhere in your brain.
Yeah, right. Okay. That's cool, because what I have been really enjoying lately is expanding where my focus is in my body, so I'm not just literally just focused there. Like I might try and bring some attention up here so that I'm expanding where the pleasure is being felt in my body, and I'm not so like, you know...
Clit focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found that's really helpful. So that sounds similar, like connecting a sort of a deeper internal place with the clitoris sounds sort of similar as a way of expanding pleasure.
Yes. So this way of expanding pleasure, where your clitoris is just part of it, is just another part of your nervous system. But when you stimulate it, when you're having your uterus and your cervix stimulated, what is related to the vagus nerve, it's just part of your chest. It's part of your heart. And it's part of your breasts, and it's as well part of your nipples. So that's just like all one big system that is not only focused and centralized on the clit. So this is what the 21 day literally is. You're just getting away from this focus, but you're not pushing it away. You're not rejecting it. You're using that consciously to expand from this point of the clit into the rest of the entire sexual system of your entire body. That can be every part of your body.
So I wonder if that's where nipple-gasms come from.
Oh, very much.
Vagus nerve.
Absolutely.
Right. So stimulating breasts and nipples, it's great. I mean, it's a great practice anyway.
Yeah.
But that could also help open the nerve pathway during what, you know, if you combine it.
And an interesting thing is about the masculine and the feminine, I'm not saying masculine or feminine, man and female body, or male and female body, is that the polarity of the genitals. So men actually have a plus in their genitals, women have a negative pole there. That means men, we like to be touched first in our genital. Women have a plus pole in their heart and in their breast. They need and like to be touched first there. And then it just opens up. And men need to be touched in their genitals first, and then they're just opening up.
So breast massage is a great practice.
So for women, don't start directly on your clit. Don't start directly on your genitals. Start on your skin, start on your body, on your breasts, on your nipples, and just include your genitals in there. Don't get only focused on the clit. This is the 21 day thing.
I have one more question. So then what is the experience of orgasm like? Not orgasmic state. Like, so now I'm confused. So is there a peak?
Yes. Okay, this is totally another chapter. But if you have that minute?
We have a minute.
There's a spiritual aspect to that. And this is what most people experience and highly acknowledge. What happens is, just like to break that down in the terms of neurology, when you're just getting sexually aroused and when you're feeling this kind of, you want more of that, that's the release of dopamine. When you're feeling the softness, the gentleness, the kind of yumminess, the coziness, this is when you're releasing oxytocin. When you're breathing a lot, this is where you create melatonin in your lungs and serotonin somewhere in your brain. So you have this body chemistry of your own physicality, where you release a cocktail that can reach higher states of spirituality. So specifically in your thymus gland, you release endorphins when you're having a lot of cacao. So with endorphins, when your heart is open, means when your vagus nerve is activated and all the neurotransmitter traveling through your vagus nerve in your brain, you just create in your brain, after a certain amount of time, a cocktail that is releasing natural DMT in your pineal gland. DMT, dimethyltryptamine, that stuff when you take ayahuasca and all that stuff. we're releasing that naturally. Using DMT in your pineal gland, this is where the merging of oneness beyond bodies happens, where you're just going into this place where you're just becoming one with your partner and merging into this extreme beautiful place of the present moment.
Wow.
This is the entire transformation in the sexual field. But what happens is that we love to stay there as long as we can. But what happens is when we're peaking out and having an orgasm, we're releasing prolactin, and that shuts down DMT, oxytocin, dopamine.
When you say orgasm, do you mean clitoral?
The contractive peak orgasm.
Yeah.
The contractive peak orgasm related to procreation.
Yeah.
Because
so you shut that potential down?
No, you're not shutting the potential down. The space where you're in when you're releasing DMT, that is getting shutting down through the prolactin, because your body cocktail is getting a new ingredients where it just becomes more flat.
Yeah. Wow.
So you stay in this place, and you're actually getting out of that space not by orgasm, not by the contractive peak orgasm. You're getting out of that by being in an orgasmic state, and you can revisit that as.
So is there a peak?
There is no peak. There is no peak.
So you just keep going with that, and then you're saying that all of this kind of starts to activate and moves up, and then there's the DMT release, and then you have that experience of oneness.
Yeah, all what happens is you're becoming extremely relaxed around sex. You're becoming extremely present, and you start to feel your environment in the present moment much more active.
Wow, that sounds amazing. It just kind of does seem like quite a hard place. Like, that seems how...
No, it's absolutely totally worth it.
Will I ever get there?
Oh yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. It's worth every moment is worth every practice, everything.
So practice, learning about owning your sexuality, I think it's a bit of a theme that's come up. Being able to ask for what you want.
Explore yourself. Just find out what is the right thing.
And this is really what this is all about. It's really about exploration. Yeah.
And Tantra is a beautiful path.
Yeah.
And it has been misused and abused so many times for certain benefits that are not tantric. Pleasure.
How do you know when your cervix is starting to open? I mean, I don't know if you can answer that because you don't have one, but I mean, how do I know? Will it just feel good?
It feels much, much better.
Okay, have I missed anything? Is there anything else you want to
add?
There's
so much more to say, and there's so much more questions. So when you have any kind of question, you can always...
Yeah, you can find Matt at uniquetantra.com.
Yeah, or send me an email, info@uniquetantra.com. And
at the moment he's in Bali. If you're here, you might want a session.
And find out what is possible for you.